What is going on, guys? It's Coaster Jedi back at you with another video here. So today I'm going to start a new segment, and this will be recapping my days at certain parks. So we're starting off with probably not my favorite ever park experience, going to Carowinds the day of August 14th, 2021. Unfortunately, I didn't get to ride a whole lot on this trip because of weather, but I'll get into all the details as I'm coming. So me and some friends from my local area all went down here, and we still had a good time despite the unfortunate circumstances. So I'll get into all the details in this video. We got to the park probably about 10:45 since it opened at 11. And unfortunately, we had to wait a while to actually get into the park because it took forever to be able to get through the parking tolls because it was pretty busy. Unfortunately, we did go on a Saturday, but that was the day that worked for them. So it's alright, it's not a big deal. But it definitely was a little crowded to begin with. So we went back and tried to go to Afterburn, but it was closed, and unfortunately, it would remain closed for the entire day. So we went to Copperhead Strike instead, which was a good way to start out the day. This thing is fun, quick, intense, and a solid ride. It's got some great hang time and some good air time. So I got a nice back row ride, and it was a great start to the day. We decided to kind of work our way around that side of the park, so we went next to Flying Cobras, the Vekoma Boomerang, and this is definitely one of the better Vekoma Boomerangs out there. Pretty smooth and pretty enjoyable, and we only had to wait about 5 minutes for it, so that's always a plus. Next, we have the most surprising coaster of the day. This is Carolina Cyclone, and I actually really like this ride. I liked it the first time I rode it, but I didn't think it was anything special. But this time, I got some great airtime on the drop, and there's a nice pop of airtime after the loops, and the loops were intense, and it was pretty smooth. I don't know if I just got a really good ride on it in the magic seat, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun, and it got a spot in my top 50, so this is pretty great. Next up was the worst coaster of the day, Hurler, and I don't like Hurler. I don't think it's very fun. It hurts, and it's just kind of a boring ride, and so this wasn't a lot of fun, but it was fun to see everybody's reaction to it, because nobody really loved it in our group, so, but not a great ride, but I mean, it's whatever. At least it didn't have a line. So by this point, we'd only been in the park about an hour, and we've ridden 4 things, but all that was about to change. So we worked our way over to Fury, and unfortunately we had to wait about an hour and a half, and at this point it was really hot, and it was just not the most fun experience waiting, but it was definitely worth the wait. Fury was fantastic as always, and it really kept its spot in my top 10 personally. Just so much fun, such a great ride. The line was very long, but it helped to have other people, helped to have my friends to pass the time. That really made it a lot better, so that's good. But sadly, this would end up being our last ride of the day, but it was a great way to end the coaster riding day because the rain decided to show up. The forecast I had looked at the night before, and it didn't look too bad, but I had no idea how terrible the weather would end up being the next day. It was awful. It started, the ride started shutting down after we got off Fury, so I was very thankful we were able to get in just in time. But they started to shut down the rides, and so we decided to seek shelter, especially after a lightning bolt struck pretty close to where we were. So we hid in the thrill shop, so that was good. We just sat there for about an hour and waited for the rain to slow down, which it slowed down a little bit, but it was still pretty crazy pouring out there. So unfortunately, the rides closed down at 2:30 and would not reopen, and the park closed at 5. So that kind of sucked. It was not a very great way to end the day, but I still had fun walking around the park with my friends, and I ended up getting a good souvenir as well. So we got out of there around 5. Thankfully, we have the ability to come back if we want to. The tickets are still valid for that day, but it has to be within the next month or so. But still, that's much better than nothing. Although it did take forever to get out of the parking lot. It probably took us a solid 45 minutes to get out of the parking lot because the power was down on that side of the park, and the stoplight was out over there. So it was a pretty major storm, but I was thankful that we were able to get on Fury before the outpour. So here's the final ride count. 1 on Fury 325, 1 on Copperhead Strike, 1 on Carolina Cyclone, 1 on Flying Cobras, and 1 on Hurler. Unfortunately, we did not get to ride Intimidator. That was going to be our next thing after Fury, but we just didn't get to it because of the rain. And unfortunately, Afterburn was closed as well. I was hoping to get a ride on Nighthawk as well, but it just didn't work out. So, but still, we got 5 rides in. For how bad the weather was, it really could have been worse. I was just really glad we had gotten on Fury. So some overall thoughts for the day. I still really love Carowinds. It's one of my favorite parks I've been to. I love the atmosphere. I love how it's sort of a smaller park that feels like a really big park. You can really walk around it pretty quickly. It was unfortunate to have the weather incident that just did not leave a great taste in my mouth, but I still had a good day with my friends, and we still enjoyed it. It was still a good time. So, I mean, it wasn't really the day I was picturing, but it still ended up being a pretty solid day. I'm thankful that I got to ride Fury and have a good time. So biggest surprise was definitely Carolina Cyclone being much better than I anticipated or remembered. So that was great. And then the worst surprise was obviously the weather. So that wasn't great. But we did get to stop at a fun place on the way back home. We stopped at a barbecue place, which was great. So if you're ever coming back north from Carowinds, stop at Gary's Barbecue. You'll be glad you did. Alright guys, so thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Let me know if I should do more park experiences like this, especially days when I get to ride more than 5 coasters. I would love to keep adding variety to my channel, so let me know what you guys think about this. Alright, you guys are awesome, thanks for watching, and hope you all have a good day. See ya.